I have my moments where I say, hold on a second. Are they really trying to openly indoctrinate children into trans identity, trans ideology, gender identity issues as broadly as it's starting to feel like they are? I know it's happening, right? But I sit back and I say, we never want to get beyond what the truth is, where the facts are. So how much is this really going on? Where is this going on? And I happen to see actually just this morning, Discovery Plus. I didn't know until now that Discovery even had a additional channel, which, unlike CNN Plus, is apparently still going on. Discovery Plus announced a new show called Generation Drag. Here's some of the audio from the trailer.
How do I parent a child that wants to do drag?
I never expected drag to be a part of our lives. These are problems I never thought I had to prepare for.
Do you think a mom would ever want to watch me do drag?
How do I explain this to my child that she doesn't fully accept novella?
It's important for kids to understand that they're not alone.
What is going on? This is from the Discovery Plus press release. 5 teenagers prepare for their biggest drag performance in the new series Generation Drag, premiering on Discovery Plus on June 1st. I mean, you got teenage boys who are all part of this this show that's going to be showing people doing drag shows. I've got to say, this is just not okay. There's something very wrong here. There's something very wrong with the mentality of a lot of adults that are engaged in this, promoting this and doing this. And I haven't even gotten into the school component of it, which is, there's more on that as well. But our children are sacred to us, right? All of our children. You want our kids to be obviously protected and safe, and to be brought up and educated so that they can be successful, happy, productive people. And yet when you see what some of the left-wing agenda really is, and this is why they hate Rufo so much, and why they lie about him, and why they lie about other people, that why they lie about the parental rights bill and Governor Ron DeSantis in Florida, and they make up these horrible things about them. Because when you see what's really going on, normal, rational, reasonable people step back from it and say, what the heck is going on here? What is this all about? Imagine for a moment there was a show that had, I saw the trailer for this. It's being shared all over social media. It looks like some of the boys involved in these drag shows are, I mean, I'd guess, 12, 11, something like that. I mean, imagine if there was a show that was going to celebrate the very, honestly, over-sexualized performances and dancing of 11-year-old, 12-year-old females. You would say this is outrageous, right? This is what's going on. And people say, oh, it's not. There's all this, the way the dancing is done, the way the whole thing, it is not okay. There's something really wrong here. And I wonder why people seem to think that this in any way should be defended, why it should be, and I'm talking about people on the left, never mind. I mean, conservatives see this stuff and say to themselves, what the heck is going on? But you have all these libs who I guess they're so used to operating in this realm of whatever they need to be a part of the in-group. If it's wear 2 masks, they'll wear 2 masks. If it's 3, they'll wear 3. If it's 15 shots to slow the spread, sign me up for number 16. Whatever it is, they'll go along with it, right? If it's put up a square on your social media for BLM, they do put up 6 Ukraine flags. That's what they do. They just do what the next thing is that they're told to do by the people on the left, by the institutions of the Democrat Party, in the media and in the culture that tell them to do these things. You sit there, you say, okay, well, what about this? Shouldn't parents see this for what it is, irrespective of their politics? Shouldn't they have an understanding that this is it's just inappropriate, right? It's just not something that a healthy society would be promoting. And yet this is on Discovery Plus. This is supposed to be entertainment. And I'm sure that even people who recognize that there's something wrong here are going to say to themselves, well, I don't want to come out publicly against this. I don't want to come out publicly against what's going on because I won't be part of the in-group anymore. You know, the parents at my very progressive school will think that I'm a bigot, a bad person. And they might lie about you. Even as, remember, they'll lie about people in public life to destroy them. They'll lie about private citizens, too, who don't go along with this stuff. We all know that can happen. You can find yourself at the center of a social media pylon. Even if you aren't somebody who's on social media, it doesn't matter. They'll video you. They'll attack you. There was a driver. Don't ever forget this. There was a Latino-American driver for, I believe it was a power company in California, fired from his job because his hand was hanging outside of his car door at a red light, and some lunatic lib driving by thought that his hand looked like a white power symbol. That actually happened. So you have to remember that no matter who you are, no matter where you are, if they can come after you, if they decide to come after you, they will. And so that has a tremendous effect even on things like this. And then as for the way this plays out, and by the way, just so you know, I didn't put out the call number and everything so that we wouldn't take calls, but we're having a little trouble on the phone lines right now. Technology is a little bit of an issue. So I would say I want to open up and talk to parents right now. We're hoping to get that fixed here shortly. So we're working on it. But the Seattle Times, pretty big paper. We've got a great radio station out in Seattle. The Seattle Times says that most transphobia, this was an op-ed I think they published, most transphobia stems from a lack of understanding of what it means to be trans or genderqueer. Providing comprehensive education on gender identity to all students can help to change that. So I just want to be clear. Is the left's position that they aren't teaching trans and gender identity to children, or that they must teach it to children so that they're not transphobic, which is the term that's now being used? It's just a variation on bigot, of course. Which one is it? I think it would be so much easier, it would be so much better for this discussion if the left could just decide what the argument is going to be. Are they arguing that we should or should not teach gender identity to 5-year-olds? Because if you look at what they've said about Florida, it certainly seems like they want 5-year-olds learning about gender identity. Are we teaching 10-year-olds that trans identity is something that many of them not only should consider or know of, but should embrace? Are schools pushing children toward that? Well, there are shows where there are young, teenagers doing drag shows right now, and people are clapping for that and saying that that's normal. At least some people are. So what is the actual argument? I just want to know if their claim is going to continue to be, oh, that's not happening, or yes, it is, and we're proud of it. It has to be one or the other. It can't be both. And look for them to try to hide the truth from you on all of this. And then just to go on offense, like I said. Because they don't have good arguments, the better option for them is to attack, to ruin people, to lie about them, to lie about what they've said, to lie about what they stand for. Because otherwise, everyone sitting around in America who's at least open to facts, reason, and persuasion will start to say, oh, so the left actually has lost its mind. They really are crazy on some of these issues. Like there's something deeply wrong. Just because it's an American political party and ideology doesn't mean that it can't jump the shark, my friends. There are plenty of times in our past, in our history, where one party or the other party was deeply wrong, deeply immoral. Don't get into this, oh, well, both sides have an argument. Sometimes both sides don't have an argument, There are some times in history, the party that wants to abolish slavery, they're the right party, right? They're right. The party that is saying, oh, no, we have a different view. It's not, oh, we both have our opinions. Sometimes one party is right. Sometimes one party is wrong. And I think on these gender identity issues for children, that's what you're seeing play out right now. One side is right, one side is wrong, and there is a furious effort to try to obscure and attack and just hope the American people don't come to the obvious conclusion.